Hello SLAPAFISH community, welcome back to another World Tanks console video. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the BMP-3, which is the Era 3 Eastern Allied tank. So, this is the BMP-3. You got the PT-76 at Era 1, the BMP-1 at Era 2, and the BMP-2 at Era 2. Then you got the Era 3 light tank, which is the BMP-3 line. Now, this is actually the quickest way to get to Era 3 if you ever wanted to know. And this is one of the few one of the few light tanks in Era 3. Also, so what's special about the BMP-3? Well, you got like a machine gun type autoloader gun that gets 200 rounds per clip. It's not as fast firing as the BMP-2 gun, which I definitely miss, but it does reload a lot faster. Then you also got the missiles that hit pretty dang hard, which you're about to see if I'm going to fire it. And they reload very, very quickly. And the high explosive rounds, even though they are high explosive rounds and they don't do that much damage, they do some damage. And their module damage is actually really, really high. They do 470 damage per shot. They actually manage to penetrate with their 120 millimeters of penetration, which you'll definitely get to pen against light tanks and leopards and challengers in the back of the tanks. But that's not why you really like them. They do like 120 damage per shot if you don't pen, but they absolutely cripple things inside of the tank. So that's really, really nice. Now, and so you may notice I actually have 100 rounds of high explosive loaded. It's either 100 rounds of high explosive loaded. I've loaded those down so I can knock down buildings really, really quickly if I wanted to, because of how fast the gun actually reloads. And I can actually do it on this tank. On the BMP-2, the high explosive was really good if you can get behind like light tanks or lightly armored tanks. And those just absolutely rip apart people. But the problem with the BMP-2, you can do that, is the amount of ammunition that you have. You have 10 ATGMs and 600 machine gun rounds, autoloader rounds. And they would just run out really quickly, especially the autoloader rounds, and they would just knock out. So this is one of the things I like about the BMP-3. You can keep on your machine gun, then switch to your high explosive gun when it gets loaded, and just slowly knock people down. And when you're using the high explosive, it is ripping people apart inside. Okay, like I said, on the BMP-2, the ammunition is very, very limited. And you do seem to run out. I've run out a lot of times and the BMP-2 with its ammunition because it goes through so fast. But with the high explosive rounds and the 3 extra missiles on this tank, or 4 extra missiles on this tank, yet you're not running out of ammunition anytime soon, so you're allowed to do. I recommend some high explosive rounds on this tank, like the machine gun high explosive rounds. You couldn't do it on the BMP-2. It was you can only do like all of one round. You couldn't really do like, okay, I'm doing half standard, half premium, and some high explosive. No, that's not how the BMP-2 worked, because of how fast it fires and stuff like that. Okay, let's actually go over how I have this tank loaded out, because most people would like to know. So currently I have Quick Learner. Well, I'll excuse Quick Learner for a second. Rapid Loading, Supply Conservation, Deadeye, Off-Road Driving, Born Leader, Camouflage Expertise. Now, the skills I would put on it is Multiple Shot, Green Thumb, Sixth Sense, or Situational Awareness. And yeah. So my equipment is the powertrain, the advanced concealment, the traction system, and the enhanced missile warning, so I can get more view range on this tank. Because if I ever won the 3 market, you gotta buff up the view range and buff up the damage and concealment, just so you can actually spot. So yeah, that's the BMP-3. It's a nice light tank. It's it gets a lot funner when you fully upgrade it, like most tanks, especially with the BMP-2 and the BMP-3. They're good before you upgrade it, but they get 10 times better with the upgraded engine. Now, that's it for this video. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, all the SLAPAFISH, because why would not, and peace out, see ya.